Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel, and this is my response to Jeremy Ginger's 200 subs contest. Obviously, first we need to congratulate you, Jeremy. I think 200 subs is way too low. You should have a lot more than that by now. For those of you sub to my channel and not sub to his, please sub at the link down below. He listens to, we're into pretty much the same style of music, the same types of music. So he shows similar stuff to what I show. He also shows movies as well. While I am into movies, I don't show them. I'm not a movie collector per se, though I do have quite a lot. Regardless, so his for his 200 subs contest, he asked us to talk about a movie and a soundtrack that were equally great. And I had to, it took me, actually it didn't take me too long to come up with this answer because this is one of my favorite movies from that era. However, I didn't want to choose a movie that everybody else will have chosen. So, I mean, obviously The Crow ran through my mind, but Jeremy showed that one. Some other ones that ran through my mind that were good movies that had great soundtracks were also Almost Famous. I really love that movie and the soundtrack to it as well. Spinal Tap initially came to mind. I have that movie and I have that on vinyl. Some other ones, Sid and Nancy was a good one. Suburbia. I don't have either that movie or that soundtrack. I'm talking about the punk Suburbia, not the Michael Keaton. Was it Michael Keaton? I believe it was a Michael Keaton movie. But so what I decided to go with was I decided to show one of my favorites from the 90s, and this is still a favorite. I really like this movie. The graphic, or not the graphics, the special effects don't hold up very well now. I mean, this movie came out in 1994, pre-hardcore CGI that we see now. So the demons in the movie don't really hold up, but still, just an amazing movie. And that's Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I don't have this movie anymore. I do have a copy of it on my iTunes library. I don't have a physical copy anymore. I got rid of all my CDs years ago and pretty much exclusively watch either streaming movies or Blu-rays. And unfortunately, it hasn't been released on Blu-ray. I'm not sure if it has something to do with the music because the CD is also out of print, as is the vinyl. There was a very small vinyl run. And that album goes for 150 plus. I would love to have this, but the basic premise of the movie is demons are trying to get a hold of a specific artifact that contains the blood of Christ, and the Demon Knight is the guy. Knight with a K is the guy that whose destiny, I guess it is, to protect the artifact. And the artifact passes on from person to person. A new person takes over every generation to take the place as the knight who protects this artifact that contains the blood of Christ. So it sounds pretty deep for a Tales from the Crypt movie, and it kind of is, you know, and I think that's why it didn't do really well compared to some of the other movies in that genre, or those types of movies. The other Tales from the Crypt movies have been released numerous times, as have the albums. For some reason, this one hasn't. And I think this was one of the best. By far, it was the best Tales from the Crypt movie, but it also had one of the best soundtracks. So, and actually, most of you metal fans will be familiar with most of the songs off of this soundtrack that would later either pop up on albums or pop up on what's the word I'm looking for? Like compilation CDs, stuff like that. So, so again, here is the CD cover for it. And just a rundown of the tracks on here. You have Cemetery Gates from Pantera. This came out in '94, by the way. So I believe Cemetery Gates was already out, but this is the Demon Knight edit. I mean, to me, it sounds about the same. But then you got Tonight We Murder from Ministry, My Misery from Machine Head. And this was my introduction to Machine Head, this particular album. Diadems from Megadeth, which was later on, what was the name of, oh, that's going to drive me nuts. Anyway, Megadeth did an album of B-sides and soundtrack songs from various soundtracks, and that was on there. It's going to drive me nuts because I can picture the cover, I can picture all of it. Anyway, Instant Larry from the Melvins, Fall Guy from Rollins Band, Beaten from Biohazard, Policia from Sepultura, which would later show up on Bloodrooted, Hey Man Nice Shot. This was the introduction of Hey Man Nice Shot from Filter. That would later be released on their first album, Short Bus, which was kind of garbage with the exception of that one song. And this was also the introduction of Gravediggaz, the hip-hop group, with 1-800-Suicide. And that Gravediggaz album, I think, is one of the top 5 hip-hop albums of all time. It's going to drive me nuts. What was the name of that Megadeth album? Oh, well. But just a great album beginning to end. I love every track on this album. Like I said, it turned me on to Machine Head. I wasn't familiar with them. It was the introduction of Filter. It was the introduction of Gravediggaz. Biohazard, Rollins Band, Pantera had already been, Ministry had already been around for years at this point, as had Megadeth, obviously. Great movie, great soundtrack. I highly recommend both of them. Again, and the movie itself had Billy Zane, Billy Zane's an amazing actor. Unfortunately, he doesn't get enough credit. He was the Rose's fiance in Titanic, was probably the biggest movie that he did. But he's done countless movies. Amazing actor. And then Jada Pinkett, who would later marry Will Smith and become Jada Pinkett Smith. This was one of her early movies as well. So, again, highly recommend both of these. The soundtrack's amazing. It is available on vinyl for all you VC guys. If any of you run across a copy of it on vinyl, I'm looking for it. I want it. That's what I've been looking for a long time. That's it. Again, congratulations on 200 subs, Jeremy. Hopefully you get up to 300 in no time. And again, for those of you who are subscribed to my channel who aren't subscribed to his, please click on the link below. Check out his video. Check out his channel. Subscribe. Take care, VC. Take care, Jeremy Ginger.